Hey y'all, I'm Tiffany with Hilltop Tulips, and in today's video I'm going to show you 5 recipes that are going to get you through this week. Okay guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 meals that I like to keep in my back pocket for those days when I'm exhausted, I do not feel like cooking, or we've been running errands and I just don't have time to make my pie crust from scratch or things like that. So with these meals, I feel like they're better for you than running through a drive-thru or ordering takeout, and they're definitely better on your wallet. So in my previous videos, which I'm going to stick in the description down below, I talk a lot about grocery budget, extreme grocery budget, how to feed one person for $10 for the whole week. It's all about money. But there is another budget that you need to keep in mind, and that's your time. Especially when you have children, time with them is more valuable than money to me. So some weeks I have a full week at work, I'm doing other things with side businesses and working in the garden, and I don't have time to make my pie crust from scratch. So on those nights, on those few occasions, I like to have these things on hand that I can throw in the oven or on the stove and make in somewhere around 15 to 30 minutes with prep time. So these are going to be meals that you can use when you just don't have time to get anything else on the stove, and these are definitely family favorites. We make these often instead of grabbing Chinese or something like that. So you guys stay tuned, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite quick and easy weekday meals. Okay, for my first meal, I'm going to be making this cheese tortellini. My family loves this stuff. Cheese tortellini with this 5 cheese Texas toast. You can do garlic bread or breadsticks, or just leave this out. And then we're going to have a quick little salad over here. We just do like lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and cucumbers for a simple salad. We have, when it's garden season and we have other things to throw in, we do that as well. But I already have my sauce going over here. So I think I've mentioned this trick in a previous video. One thing I like to do when I buy my ground beef is go ahead and cook it all at one time and then divide it into 1-pound baggies and freeze it. So whenever I'm rushing to get a meal on the table, I don't have to cook the ground beef, and you only have to handle the grease once and things like that. So I will go ahead and grab 1 of the pounds of already cooked hamburger, throw it in the pan, put my sauce in there. I like this Prego low sodium, so we try to do low sodium when we can. And then I put some Italian seasoning in with it, and then we let that simmer, and we're going to get these tortellini cooking. It says it only takes 3 minutes, so I just throw these in a pot of boiling water, and I may not even leave them 3 minutes because then I mix them in with the sauce. So I'm going to show you guys all that. Okay, excuse my messy stove, I've been cooking. So we have our tortellini in here. Keep it stirring. Now I use the whole bag. That is enough for 2 meals for my family, but that is fine. We'll have this for lunch and maybe like a snack later on the next day, and then we can freeze anything that still might be left. This freezes and defrosts fine in the sauce. And then over here is my sauce and my meat. So we're going to give these tortellini just a few more minutes in here, get them a little bit defrosted, and then I'm going to mix them together, throw some mozzarella on top. I have my garlic bread in here. It cooks on 425 for 5 to 6 minutes. So tortellini, 3 to 5 minutes altogether. Sauce, if you've got your ground beef already cooked, the sauce only takes a couple minutes to throw together and get heated through. And then we're just going to put the mozzarella on top, and any prep time cutting up your salad, that's probably going to get your food on the table in 15 minutes or less. Okay, so here we have everything all finished up. I went ahead and prepared my 3, almost 4-year-old's plate. I put her little salad on here, and she just gets the half a piece of garlic bread because these pieces are pretty big. And here is our tortellini. So I'm gonna get it lifted so you guys can see it. And I just I boiled it for just a couple minutes, drained it, mixed it with the sauce, covered it in mozzarella. We are a cheese eating people, so I went ahead and covered that good with mozzarella and let that melt. And then we're just gonna get her a little scoop. If she wants more, she can have more, but I doubt that she'll even eat that much. So there's our first meal, ready in definitely less than 15 minutes. All right, y'all, we've got dinner made, everybody's eaten, and tomorrow is Saturday, and Mom wants to sleep in. I don't ever get to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare, they're called egg cups or protein cups, breakfast bites, whatever I've seen them called by different names, so whatever you want to call them. They're basically scrambled eggs with whatever kind of fillings you like. So I'm going to put a layer of hash browns, some diced ham. You can buy like the ham steak and dice it up yourself. That would be cheaper, but I just grabbed this pack because I may not use ham in all of them. We'll see. And then I'm going to put some cheese on top. So I'm going to get started by going ahead and scrambling up some eggs. And if I end up needing more, I can also always scramble up more. This is kind of one of those, not really a recipe, just kind of a filling it out. You can put whatever seasoning you like. I'm just going to use a little bit of my pink Himalayan salt. And some pepper. Well, I'm not sure what happened to my egg cup footage, so either I didn't push record or I deleted it. Either way, that's fine. This is just an example of how we would have these for breakfast, just with some kind of like a bagel or English muffin or toast and then a piece of fruit on the side. You can just eat it as is. It's a complete breakfast as is. And the way I made these was just poured half the cup full of egg and then put my hash browns and my ham in and topped it off, sprinkled some cheese on top. It took maybe 30 minutes to cook all together, but you're going to want to keep an eye on it because it's going to depend on what type of egg cup you're making. If you use muffin cups or like this, I use like a Pampered Chef loaf pan, so it's going to depend on what you use. So this was a great breakfast. We can throw these in the freezer and reheat them. They reheat great. Okay, for my next recipe, we are going to be making a chicken pie. Now, I did another video of different things that you can do with a whole chicken, and I'm going to link that in the description down below because you can do that with one of these rotisserie chickens. What I'm going to do today is make a chicken pie, but I'm not doing the one from scratch that I made in that video. This is kind of just a simple, throw together, quick, getting those meals on the table quick type chicken pie. So what we're going to use is our chicken. I've got my pre-made pie crust. I let these sit out to go ahead and defrost. And for our filling, I'm going to use my cans of cream of chicken soup. I'm going to throw in a can of mixed vegetables. You can also use like frozen mixed vegetables if you want to, but I suggest letting your filling cook for a little while. Those are a little more tough. They just need to cook for longer before you throw your chicken pie in the oven and finish off the crust. And then it'll be a little thick with these, so I just got a a box of chicken broth, and we grabbed the low sodium kind as well for that. And you're not going to use all this, you're just going to thin it out a little bit. If you make your chicken from scratch, you can just use some maybe some water and then some of the juice from the chicken to thin out your filling. So I'm going to go ahead and get my filling started. Just going to put that on medium and go ahead and get these 3 cans in there, and then we'll start stripping the meat off of the chicken. Okay, so I've got the chicken off of the bone now. I ended up using both of the thighs and one and maybe a half of the other breast. So 1.5 breasts and both thighs. It's going to depend on the size of your chicken. If you're someone that really wants a recipe, I would say go with about 2 cups of chicken. Or you can just eyeball the filling and see if it's got as much chicken as you want. With the chicken broth, I was adding a little at a time to thin it out to the consistency that I wanted. And I've used a little less than half. So let's go ahead and get this. Let me get my pie crust down. So I do make my own pie crust from scratch, but there's nothing easier than just rolling this out into the pan. You want to go ahead and let it get like room temperature. You want it not even to be cold, or it's not going to roll out right. And then just tuck it in around the sides. Make sure it's on the bottom. Okay. And then these boxes come with 2, so you have your top. Whoops. And here's what my filling looks like. And that's about the consistency that my family likes. I haven't put a bunch of extra seasonings because the cream of chicken soup's pretty salty. And this tastes really good. You want to go ahead and taste your filling, see if you want anything else in it, pepper or salt or anything like that. But I think this tastes great. And we're just going to go ahead and pour it in. I usually have extra filling too. And I will just keep it in the fridge, and we eat that over rice. I'm going to get it as full as I can. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So the most time-consuming thing with this recipe was pulling the chicken off of the bone. And if you want to like do a meal prep type thing, you can go ahead and cook your chicken, just go ahead and shred it or pull it off the bone and freeze it in portion bags. So then when you get ready to make a pie, you just pull one of those portion, like a quart-size baggie out, and you're ready to go. So I'm just going to tuck this down. I don't cut my crust off. I really like the crust. So I keep as much of it as I can. Okay. And it doesn't have to be pretty. It's gonna taste good whether you have perfectly crimped edges or not. It gets a little weird over here. Okay. Then you want to take a knife or fork and just make a couple holes in the top so the steam can escape. And There you go. I'm going to sit this on top of a cookie sheet, so if it boils over for any reason, the cookie sheet will catch it and I don't have to clean my oven. Now I'm going to put this in on 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. That's going to depend on your oven, so just keep your eye on it. When it's brown, take it out. Everything in there is cooked already, so you're really just browning the crust. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull this out of the oven. It has been in there for about 25 minutes now. Looking good. It did bubble over a little, so I'm glad I have that tray under there. Now, normally I would let this cool, but I want to plate up just a spoonful to show you guys. There we go. So our next recipe is going to be these baked sliders. You can fill them with anything you like. We're going to be doing ham and Swiss cheese today. I've also done like a Philly cheesesteak style one with those, they're called steakums, in the freezer section. You just cook those up. I think we used provolone with that one, and then grilled onions and peppers. But you can fill these sandwiches with anything you like. You're just going to take these dinner rolls and slice them across the middle, fill them and bake them. And we have a topping too that takes it to the next level and makes it more than just a ham and cheese sandwich. With these, we like to have them for lunch most often, but like tonight we're having them for dinner, so you can do either or. We're going to put some fries on the side and maybe a banana or some strawberries. You can do, if you want to, you can do like carrots, celery sticks. You don't even have to really have a side with it. You can do chips instead of fries. So this one's completely customizable. So we're going to go ahead and get this in the oven. We're preheating to 350 right now, and I'm going to put my sandwiches together and then we'll throw them in. While I'm getting these ready, I'm going to melt my butter. This is a half a stick of butter. Can't remember the measurement for a half a stick of butter. I sprinkled some onion powder and pepper in here, and there's about a teaspoon of Worcestershire, I might have said that wrong, sauce in here, and then some honey mustard. You can use honey mustard, Dijon mustard, regular mustard. Play with the toppings too. You could throw in some Italian seasoning if you're doing like a pizza slider with pepperoni and mozzarella. You can mix this up too. You want to leave these connected and go ahead and cut them. I'm actually going to take them off the tray. If you guys have any suggestions for a good bread knife, leave those in the comments below. This one is just tearing my little rolls up. Okay, got that. just going to take our top off. Okay, now we're gonna put the tops back on. We still have some ham left. I didn't use the whole 1 pan, but you can layer it thicker if you'd like. We have our butter mixture. Now again, this is a half a stick of butter, and then I decided to mix in some honey mustard, onion powder, pepper, and Worcestershire sauce. And you're just going to pour it over the top. And then just brush all that seasoning around. So we're going to put these in the oven on 350 for about 15 minutes. You just keep an eye on it and get it as brown as you want it. Make sure your cheese melts. Everything is like, you don't have to cook anything, so you're not worried about temping anything or getting it to a certain degree. You're just wanting to get it nice and warm and melty. Let that butter melt, the bread toast a little bit. So we're going to throw these in, and I'm going to show you guys what they look like in just a second. Alright, our sandwiches are done, and I actually only left these in for about 10 minutes. The tops are nice and crispy, and the cheese is melted, and that's all you really need. And the villagers are getting restless. People are hollering at me about dinner, so 10 minutes is good enough today. There we go. And there's the inside. You can see the layers of Swiss. Looking very good. Now, like I said, with these, we're going to put some fries on the side. You can do chips, or you can just do fresh fruits and veggies. My oldest doesn't like tomatoes, so she's going to have baby carrots, and then my youngest is going to have some cherry tomatoes on the side as well. So there you go, our ham and cheese sliders. Okay, for my last recipe, this is going to be one of my family's favorites. This actually isn't just one that we go to for convenience. We go to it all the time, just because they like it. So I call it taco casserole. That's what we've always called it, because I got the idea from a taco casserole recipe, but we've tweaked things and changed things, so it's probably not really a taco casserole. I'm still using the taco seasoning, so that's what we're going to call it. So I have my 1 pound of ground beef over here in my pan, and like I said in my tortellini recipe, I like to go ahead and cook it all when I buy the ground beef and divide it up into portion bags in the freezer. So then all you have to do is get it defrosted and then mix everything together, and we're going to throw a cornbread topping, like the corn muffin mix, over top of it. So got my ground beef going. I'm going to go ahead and put my taco seasoning in now. We will put some cheddar cheese in the mixture, but we also like to top it with cheese and sour cream. So those are for the toppings. So let's go ahead and get this all mixed up on the stove. First thing we're going to throw in is our taco seasoning. I try to get the one with less sodium, but totally up to you. Whatever kind of taco seasoning you like. We're going to give that a little mix. There's no liquid, so it's not going to mix perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to throw in a jar of mild salsa. You can use whatever kind of regular salsa you like. The whole jar. And this is one of my time-saving tips because it already has seasonings, onions, peppers. It already makes a really good filling without you having to add a bunch of things to it. Then I'm going to throw in a can of corn, just regular corn. You can use frozen if you like. If you use frozen, I would suggest to let it cook for a minute because frozen vegetables usually need a little more time to get soft. And then my can of black beans, and we're using no salt added. Everything's already cooked, so you don't have to let it cook for a long time. I'm just going to let it simmer while I get my corn muffin mix mixed up for the topping. So right now we're going to make up our cornbread mix for our topping, and I'm using 2 boxes, so I'm just going to double the recipe. We're going to throw in the 2 boxes of cornbread mix and then 2/3 of a cup of milk, because 1 box calls for 1/3, and then 2 eggs, because 1 box calls for 1 egg. Okay, 2/3. Got my oven preheated to 375. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this topping all in. Spread it out. And then we're going to start putting our corn muffin mix over the top. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try to get it even so the cornbread will cook even. You don't want to bite into some uncooked cornbread. That's no fun for anyone. Oh, I left out my cheese. Normally I would stir some cheese into the mixture itself, but we'll just add extra on top. It will still taste delicious. So let's go ahead and get this in the oven. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and just remember that money is not the only thing that you budget. You also have to budget your time. Don't feel bad about throwing quick meals in the oven once in a while instead of going all out and making everything 100% from scratch. If you like this video, please share it with someone else you think might benefit, and drop a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great day.